I'm not so perfect, baby, are you right? Come right.
How's it going, everyone? Today I want to talk about what picking up a secondary taught me about my main character. This isn't going to be Street Fighter V specific, this is just fighting games as a whole and how you can apply it to your own game. And then maybe at the end we'll touch on some Street Fighter V specific stuff. So, the first thing I want to talk about is anti-airing more. Karin is a character that doesn't have very good anti-airs, but Cammy does. She has a traditional DP anti-air similar to Ryu in Street Fighter and then like Kai and Soul from Guilty Gear. So that sort of showed me that when you have a character that has a good DP or has a good anti-air, you need to use it and you need to know how to use it. So that got me sort of learning how to DP on reaction more rather than just walking under and doing a trip guard. As well as on Colleen using 2H more, so crouch heavy punch to anti-air because hers is really good. Karen's is also very good, but I had to use it a lot more on Colleen as I was playing stronger and stronger players. I would say this is the biggest room for improvement that I have is anti-airing in general, and not only in Street Fighter but in Guilty Gear 2 and DBFZ where 2H is a universal anti-air. So getting used to seeing somebody transition from the ground to the air and being ready for that, as well as sticking out a button and then them jumping as my button comes out and being ready to anti-air after I recover. Because a lot of the time I'll throw out a stand medium kick or something and then they'll jump and I won't be ready to anti-air. I'll just block, walk under, or just eat a jump in. Another thing I learned a lot about is some execution tricks both in the game and out of the game. So in Street Fighter V I learned about DP into super. Before I played a character with a DP, I thought you had to do the DP motion, then 2 quarter circle forwards. You can actually do DP and then a 1 quarter circle forward because the quarter circle from the DP counts as your first one. As well as some tricks on how to do cross cuts where you can do like a half circle back forward and then your character will autocorrect and do a cross cut DP. As far as out of game, I started playing with my hands sort of hovering over the buttons rather than resting them on the top row. I think this lets me be a little more active and a little more ready to move my fingers where they need to be. It keeps me from being stagnant with my execution, especially when you need to react with a DP. You need to be a lot more ready to move your hands in ways that I'm not used to. I also learned a lot about parrying, how they work as a mechanic in every game, and how they work specifically in Street Fighter V, because Colleen does have a 1-frame parry, and it's a very powerful tool that you have to know how to use. That just sort of gets you thinking about what the opponent's going to do and trying to make reads on your opponent as well as pick up on habits that they may have. So even now that I'm back on Karin, I'm still, looking for those opportunities. Even though I don't have a parry, it still got me in the mindset of trying to read people's habits and punish them for doing the same thing over and over again. You also might have noticed in this game that I'm jumping a lot more than I usually do, and that's because when I was playing those other characters, Juices had told me if you jump in on somebody and they don't anti-air you, there's nothing to stop you from keep doing that. You have to make them anti-air. You have to let them prove to you that they know how to anti-air. And you'll see that the Sakura did not anti-air me like the first 12 jump-ins, and then in the second game, he started doing it. You have to let them show you that they are willing and ready to anti-air. Another thing I learned is that every character is going to have a few bad matchups, and you just have to figure out a way to get around it and a way to sort of beat whatever option it is that that character has that counters your character. Sometimes just picking up another character for your bad matchups isn't always the answer. And then another general tip for playing against zoners, which is something that I've had problems with on Karin, is neutral jumping fireballs. And that's something I learned when I was playing Colleen because she has very little to no options against zoners. She's very weak to zoners, and neutral jumping the fireball allows it to stay on the screen as well as letting you close a lot of space because they can't throw another one while it's on the screen. It's something very simple, but something I hadn't really put into my game plan as much as I should have. As far as neutral, Juices told me that I should be using medium and lights more neutral to bait things or to whiff punish. If you notice when I was playing Colleen and when I was playing Karin previously, if you look at my older videos, I was using a lot of heavy buttons to whiff punish instead of using like Karin stand medium punch or Colleen stand medium punch. So just something else to think about. And then lastly, something might be a little Street Fighter V specific, but checking dashes with 2 jabs every time instead of just checking with 1 to stop the pressure, which is what I was doing. And I don't even know if I was really checking dashes before, or if I was just delay jabbing and they were hitting. But checking with 2 jabs so that you can convert into something is always better than just sticking out a jab to stop them from walking forward. Because even if you don't convert, if you get in the habit of doing it, eventually it'll be second nature and then you can think about converting. Some characters like Colleen, it's a little more straightforward, right? You do crouch jab, stand jab, target combo. On Cammy, you can do 2 jabs in the spiral arrow, but on Karen, you have to do 2 jabs, quarter circle forward, Tenko. So it's a little bit more execution heavy, and sometimes my hands aren't always ready to do it fast enough. So yeah, I think that's it for today. If you did enjoy, please consider subscribing. We're almost at our goal of 1,000. Thank you guys so much.